everybody.
Hold on.
All right, I will go ahead and call this meeting of the Northern Middlesex Metropolitan Planning Organization to order. My name is Derek Cravat here from MassDOT Office of Transportation Planning, representing MassDOT Secretary and CEO, Gina Fiandaca. We'll go ahead and get started with welcome and introductions. Justin, do you want to call the roll?
Sure. You just said Massachusetts Secretary of Transportation and MassDOT CEO, Gina Fiandaca.
Yep, Derek Cravat here representing Secretary Fiandaca.
MassDOT Highway Administrator, Jonathan Gulliver.
Hi, Brian Fallon, representing Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver.
NMMPO Chair, Andrew DeLaurier.
Here.
NMMPO NPO Representative Pat Wojcik.
Here.
LRTA Board Chair, Tom Bommel. Here. LRTA NPO Representative Karen Julio. Here, and Lowell City Council Representative NEMCOG and the NPO, Dan Moore. He's not here, so that's the roll. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Justin, and welcome everyone. Next up on the agenda is the approval of the April 26th, 2023 Northern Middlesex MPO meeting minutes. I'll ask for a motion and second to approve these meeting minutes as posted and as shown right now.
A motion to approve.
Pat? Was that a second?
It was.
Okay, great. All right, motion having been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions on the minutes? All right, seeing none, go ahead and call the roll, Justin.
Derek Cravat,
Yes.
Brian Fallon,
Yes,
Andrew DeLaurier,
Yes.
and Pat Wojcik.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda is a status report on Transportation Improvement Program.
Actually, Derek,
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong agenda.
we moved one.
Yep. Yep, no problem. All right, we got Transportation Planning Program Manager position. I think, Jenny, are you going to handle this one?
I am. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, as we all know, this is Justin's last meeting at the NPO. We're very sad about that. We will miss him greatly, and we appreciate everything he has done for transportation planning initiatives and efforts and projects throughout the Northern Middlesex region. And it's just an enormous amount of wealth of support and information. And I just want to thank him again for all of his effort. He's been with NMCOG actually for 21 years, which is why I wanted to talk with all of you, because it means we have not advertised a position related to the transportation planning program management in quite some time. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to, of course, first thank Justin for his efforts and open up to any of you participating if you have things you would like to share that should be on my radar as I begin the process of hiring a new person to fill this role. If there are certain things that I should be mindful of, things that this agency should be more attentive to in the future, or anything else that I just need to be aware of. Obviously, I have a job description and all of that. This isn't for you to review that. But I thought it might be a good opportunity to check in and get some feedback. So that was the intention of this agenda item. And I welcome anything from anybody, please.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jenny. No, thank you. Yeah, I see a hand from Derek Schuster. Go ahead, Derek.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say, Justin, it's been a pleasure working with you and coordinating so closely with you as liaison and with your work for the region. You made my job incredibly easy relative to other professionals I've had the pleasure to work with, and I'll miss working so collaboratively with you. To address the second part of what Jenny was asking, though, I know that you have a certification review coming up, and that should definitely be a priority item that staff prepare for with regards to all of the 3C planning activities that NPO staff perform and board members participate in, and the public as well. So I just wanted to make sure that That along with delivery of your 3C planning deliverables, stay on track, and please continue to coordinate with me and other MassDOT staff as necessary to continue that. Thanks.
Derek? Any others? Let's see. I'm assuming, Jenny, like if people have feedback after the meeting, right, they can always reach out. And,
Absolutely,
yeah.
100%.
Great, great.
Yep. Again, I just wanted to take the opportunity to seek this, any sort of feedback or ideas or suggestions. And also let you know that I'll be taking on the activities in my role as executive director here for the interim until we do fill this position. So I'll be coordinating with you next month.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. Yeah, well, looking
Great.
forward to working with you in that capacity, and
Likewise.
I'll just close this item by echoing Jenny, your comments at the beginning, and Derek, your comments, that it's been a pleasure to work with you, Justin, just on behalf of MassDOT, and spoke with our other chairs, David Moeller and Steve Wolfel, before, and they wanted me to just relay their gratitude and pleasure for working with you as well. It's been great. I know that I'm not alone in saying you'll be missed, and we hope to see you around and continue to work with you in other capacities. So thanks again for all your service, and best of luck on your last few days.
And thank you to everyone. It's been a long run here, and I actually trained under Sarah Bradbury. She was my manager at one time back in the day, and yeah, so I just want to echo everyone else's. It's been a real pleasure working with everyone on NMMPO work and working here at NMCOG, and I will miss it, and I hope to stay in touch with everyone, and you'll probably see me down.
Thanks, Justin. All right, great. So yeah, with that, I think we can move on to our next agenda item, which is status report on transportation improvement program projects under time. So I'll start with District 4. So turn it over to the district.
Hello, Tim Paris, District 4 Planner. We have a really easy one this month in that there's really been no updates to any of the projects. A couple that didn't get highlighted, just some of the projects that are in construction, the percentage complete changed by a couple percent, but I didn't bother to highlight that because it's barely even detectable. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Any questions or comments for Tim? I didn't see none. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Question.
Yeah.
Question. Let's see if I can find it here. The 608297. There was discussion of a study of utility poles in sidewalks along Route 38 in Tewksbury. I was just curious as to what the status of that was. We're getting comments from from residents in the town.
Hi, Justin. This is Brian from District 4. Yeah, we are just about finishing up on that report, and we should have something to you guys very shortly on that. We're just checking over the final product right now.
Okay, so can you make sure Jane Wellman in Tewksbury gets a copy of that? She's a select board member.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Then Brian, we can move on to the District 3 updates. Sarah, if you have any. Any updates, Sarah? Or okay, sorry.
Issue with my computer.
Oh, okay. Oh, no problem.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so just two projects, real quick, I should probably go off of your list because I can't see it online. Sorry about that. We got multiple screens here.
Please.
Okay, so the Westford projects are all moving forward. They're all on track to be advertised. You don't have oh, there it is. The Stony Brook, it's moving into 25 because of the right-of-way issues that are ongoing. So we continue to work with the community on that project. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any other questions, let me know.
Thanks, Sarah. Any
Yep.
questions for Sarah? All right, seeing none, move on to our. Oh, did you have anything, Justin?
No,
Or you just came off mute? Okay, yep, no problem. All right, yep. Move on to our next agenda item, which is open forum opportunity for public comments. Is there anyone from the public or anyone else that would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, seeing none. If you do have a comment at any point, feel free to put that in the chat or use the raise hand function in Zoom and be sure to call on you. Move on to our next item, which is the federal fiscal year 2023 Unified Planning Work Program Adjustment 1. Is this you, Justin? All right.
Okay. So on your screen is a summary narrative of adjustment number 1 to the federal fiscal year 2023 Unified Planning Work Program for our region. And so this has come about due to some changes in staffing at NMMPO, with one of our main data collectors leaving. The decision was made to outsource our traffic counting data collection work. So what we did is we developed an RFP, sent it out, and received several bids. Awarded a bid to a company called Southern Traffic Services, doing business as Recor. And the total bid award for that was $56,160. So as part of the outsourcing, the proposal is to move our funding in the traffic counting task from staff time, which is how we approached traffic counting in the past with us actually doing the data collection. So now we're not doing the data collection. So we're moving an amount of money from staff time to direct cost, which is what the consultant is. And the UPWP needs to be adjusted to reflect that change. So if you look at down here at the 2023 traffic counting budget, there's approximately $65,000, a little over 800 hours designated for staff time for this task. And and like I said, this includes time out in the field, preparations made for conducting the counts, maintaining the equipment, tubes, things like that. And it also includes downloading and our reporting to MassDOT. So with the hiring of the consultant to do that data collection, there's less need for staff time on this task. So the proposal is to move those funds into the direct costs. Excuse me. So one thing we need to remember is our traffic counting season runs from basically May through November, and that spans 2 federal fiscal years. So the total cost of $56,000 is going to be split over the amount of time left in 2023, which is at the end of September, and the first part of federal fiscal year 2024, those first 2 months. So the request for this change, because we're still in the 2023 fiscal year, is to move $40,114 from staff time, from the staff time to the direct cost for this year, and in October we will address the rest of that contract to cover those traffic counting service costs. So with that being said, adjustments to the UPWP, they do not require a formal NPO action or a public comment period. However, the NPO can vote to release this as an amendment if you feel it's in the best interest of the NPO, and then we can have a public comment period if you would like. So that's kind of what we're doing in a nutshell. And I can take any questions that you may have this time.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin. Any questions for Justin? Or thoughts on the adjustment? So you're saying, Justin, we don't even need to vote on this. It's just in the procedures that this can be just informational, and then you'll just kind of make the changes to your budget, and this will be the new budgeted hours and cost.
That is correct.
Yep. Okay. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions, and I know that we've had a form received and signed off on our end, so I think that's important for us, but I think otherwise we can move on to the next agenda item, which is federal fiscal year 2024 Unified Planning Work Program Development, presentation of draft document, and then we'll vote to release for public comment. So I'll turn it back over to staff. Walk through 24 UPWP.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Belanger. I'm a transportation mobility specialist with the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments. Today, I'll be giving a presentation on the Unified Planning Work Program Development for federal fiscal year 2024. Transportation planning is the process for looking at the current state of transportation in the region, designing for future transportation needs, and combining all of that with the elements of budgets, goals, and policies. The UPWP is one of 3 federally required certification documents, and the UPWP is required to be updated annually. The UPWP provides a means to coordinate planning activities in order to address transportation planning concerns through a comprehensive planning process. There are some minor changes to the UPWP for federal fiscal year 2024. The regional planning agencies that staff NPOs across Massachusetts are granted a funding award from MassDOT based on their population size. The total projected funding for the NMMPO is $1,115,377 for federal fiscal year 2024. Under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, Section 11206, states and metropolitan planning organizations are required to use 2.5% of their planning funding on activities related to complete streets. And we've incorporated that in our budget for this federal fiscal year. The United States Department of Transportation is committed to pursuing a comprehensive approach in advancing equity for all. The Equity Action Plan highlights key actions and steps to be taken to create a more equitable transportation system in our country in response to an executive order related to advancing racial equity and support of underserved communities. Our planning process takes consideration for equity, and we will be using the Equity Action Plan steps for guidance to support our desired outcomes. You can see here wealth creation, power of community, interventions, and expanding access are the 4 action plan items. On the screen now, you'll see the first 2 tasks related to our UPWP for federal fiscal year 24. As Justin mentioned, in the past, traffic counting was conducted by NMCOG staff, and it's expected in next year that we'll be looking at getting a consultant to complete the data collection. So that's what you see on task number 2.1. Next on the screen, you'll see tasks 3 and 4. It's important to note that with this federal fiscal year, we've now integrated pavement management, ITS, intelligent transportation systems, congestion management, and safety and security in 3.1. So that's regional systems management now encompasses those activities. Some new projects that we've added to the UPWP are the electric vehicle case study of the Northern Middlesex region. This project will consist of an analysis of electric vehicle infrastructures and electric vehicle owners and operators within the Northern Middlesex region. The elements will include interviews with municipal staff across our region, to understand the EV demands, perceptions, and interests related to electric vehicles. We'll also conduct a mapping analysis using R&V and MassDOT data to help identify where electric vehicle users live, where the charging stations are in our region. So we can plan sort of for future population changes, et cetera. Task 3.1 is an intersection study that will take place in Dracut. It's at Aiken Ave and Bridge Street, as shown on the map. The project will consist of an evaluation of the intersection, and the study will also take complete streets review of the area, reviewing bike and pedestrian facilities and recommending potential strategies to improve the safety at this intersection. The estimated cost is shown on the slide. The next task is 3.12. There has been a slight change to the UPWP in our last initial meeting where I presented on the scope. We had mentioned the age and dementia friendly planning with the town of Westford, but after some internal discussion and response from the town, this funding has now been allocated for supplemental funding for the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program. NMCOG applied for an SS4A grant with Merrimack Valley Planning Commission as the lead applicant, and we received a grant from the federal government under the bipartisan infrastructure law. The goal of, under the plan, we'll be developing a regional safety action plan. And this is a well-defined strategy to prevent roadway fatalities and serious injuries in our region and to help our communities access the implementation grants to make roadway infrastructure improvements. The funds allocated in this UPWP will supplement the funds awarded, and NMCOG will work closely with transportation staff at the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, also a consultant on engagement, communications, and approaches for the development of this plan. An estimated project cost for the supplemental funds are shown here on the slide. We do have some additional funding sources that we have mentioned in our UPWP, and they're also appearing here on the screen. Some of the additional funding sources, so they're not directly funded through the UPWP, are the SS4A grant supplemental funds, in addition to the grant funds, that the lump sum of funds that we'll be receiving. You'll also see here on the screen, the LRTA contract is referenced in the UPWP. As for our timeline, we're presenting the draft plan for the NPO that's today, and then we'll have a 21-day public comment period that will open on Friday. And then in the next month's meeting on June 28th, I will be presenting on the final plan. At that time, we'll address any comments from the public.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. Are there any questions or comments on the draft UPWP at this time? Okay, not seeing any hands or questions. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to release the draft Unified Planning Work Program as presented for a 21-day public comment period.
So moved.
Okay, motion having been made and seconded, go ahead and call the roll, Justin.
Excuse me, Derek Kravot,
Yes.
Brian Fallon,
Yes.
Andrew Deloria.
Yes.
And Pat Wojcik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Good job, Jessica. Appreciate it. That was a good summary. And if you do have any comments, feel free to check that out during the comment period.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll move on to the next item, which is federal fiscal year 2023 to 2027 TIP amendment number 4. Action item to potentially endorse. Hand it back over to NMCOG staff for this one.
Excuse me, my allergies are, okay. They replaced the windows here and there's just dust.
Oh yeah, 'tis the season, right?
Yeah. Okay. So on your screen is a summary of draft federal fiscal year 2023 to 2027 TIP amendment number 4. And which involves several project changes to transit projects that are programmed in 2023. So at our last meeting, we went over each of these, and the NPO voted to release this amendment for a public comment period, and that ended on May 19th. So I just want to, before we get to any comments or anything, I want to recap the amendment for you. So just to be clear what we're voting on today. The first project, it involves reducing costs for terminal building and maintenance for the LRTA. The initial total, $400,000, 80-20 federal and state funding split. The proposed change reduces that total from 66,000 to $485, and a reduction of just over $330,000. Second project, reduction in cost for IT equipment and maintenance. That reduces from $15,000 to just under $1,500. The third project, reduction in cost for spare parts, purchasing from $100,000 down to just over 72,000. So the next project, because the LRTA is not planning to rehabilitate a fueling station for their fixed route service this year, the proposal here is to remove the $400,000 project from the TIP. And the last two projects in the amendment are new fully state funded projects. And that's $98,000 for fare collection system upgrades and $360,000 for facilities equipment, spare parts, and IT equipment, which kind of matches the reduction in the earlier projects that I mentioned. So, like I said, the comment period ended on May 19th. We did not receive any comments. So with that being said, I can take any questions you may have. I know LRTA is here to answer any questions as well, or we can have a vote to endorse this amendment as presented today.
Great. Thanks, Justin. And there is one more project on there at the bottom, right? Adding the AVL APC.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yep.
Yes, that's a new project to add
Right.
purchase of automatic vehicle locators system for the fixture buses. And so that's a
Justin.
new project for $1 million. And please, Ally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that one, that's not final yet. So that the state piece in that is actually the way this is it's in next fiscal year. We had some lapsing 5339 funds. So we were in the process of getting it on the tip so we could obligate the funds before they lapse at the end of September. But I haven't finalized this with the state. They asked me to put it in ESTIP, but I haven't gotten a final word from them. So that's not final yet. And again, that's not state funding for this project is on the 24. Then it'll be on the new tip at $1 million. This was just to get the federal funds obligated. So the project didn't change at all. It was just to get it on the current tip. That makes sense.
Yeah, thanks, Ally. Yeah, so what we could do is we could endorse this as is today, and that doesn't prevent us from making any changes should they arise. If there's guidance to remove this, we can always come back and do something like an adjustment or another amendment in the future if that works.
Okay.
Yep, but for now, yeah, Derek Schuster, did you want to weigh in on that too?
Yeah, so I agree with what you just said, but my concern was I just wanted to follow up on the ADA access at Gallagher Terminal item with LRTA. I know that they were in touch with MassDOT Rail and Transit Division this week, and I wanted to know where we landed on that.
So that piece, the 5307 is less. When that funding was flexed, so the 3987912 was the total cost. So the federal piece is really the 80% of that, which I have the number right here.
I'm getting it too.
Real time.
It's 3190330.
Yeah, so just to communicate to board members what had happened, in your active highway tip, the MPO had agreed to program the $3.987 million to flex funding from the highway side to FTA from your regional program target, using surface transportation block grant funding. But when you do that, it's only 80% federal and assumes a 20% match. So the number that's showing as federal here is actually supposed to be that $3.19 million number that Ally had just said, and needs to still account for the match piece. So that's a little nuance with showing this on the transit tip, that we were coordinating with Rail and Transit Division on how to most appropriately do. So LRTA is the decision to revise this amendment, or what's the goal?
Yeah, so the match is still the toll credits, and that's still the 797. So the 5307 piece just needs to be reduced to the 3190330.
Okay. Okay. So I think because that change, right, is within the threshold for an amendment, I think we could probably treat that as a comment if board members are comfortable with endorsing the amendment with that change of reducing that 5307 amount to 80% of the 3.9 million. So I think that could be the motion when the time comes, but just want to, close the loop on that. And are there any other questions on the amendment? Okay, so I'm not seeing any. So then I'll ask for that motion then to endorse this amendment as presented, but with that change to revise the 3.9 million of 5307 for the Gallagher Terminal project.
I'll make that motion to endorse as amended.
Okay, so motion having been made and seconded, go ahead and call the roll.
Derek Kavah,
Yes.
Brian Fallon,
Yes.
Andrew Dwyer,
Yes.
and Pat Loges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So we'll work with LRTA and NMCOG offline to reflect that in the system.
Change.
Yep, sounds good. Okay, we can move to the next agenda item, which is federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Program development. I know this was out for public comments, so we'll be requesting a vote to endorse this today, but I'll turn it over to Justin. Is this you? Or Shravanti? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Shravanti Gopala Narayanan. I'm a transportation planner at Northern Middlesex Council of Governments. So today I'll be presenting the public comments that we've received for the Transportation Improvement Program. We had a public comment period, which started on April 28 and ended on May 19th. And we also had a public meeting on May 9th. So last month, the MPO ordered to release the draft tip for public comment. And these are the public comments that we've received during the comment period, as well as during the public meeting that we held. So the first comment is from City of Lowell. Elizabeth Altman from City of Lowell attended the public meeting that we held, and she expressed that Pawtucket Street Corridor project is a priority for the city, and that she would like to, the city would like to see it funded in TIP when there are available funds. So our response to the comment is that the MPO staff have noted that, and the MPO voted on March 22nd, 2023 on the preferred scenarios for programming of the federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 TIP. The second set of comments that we've received is from MassDOT. So I would like to go over each comment and the corresponding response. So the first comment was regarding TOC, the table of content, page numbers, and internal linking to just check if everything is up to date once all applicable comments have been incorporated into the final tip. And the staff verified that all the table of content, all the page numbers, and all the links attached to the document are up to date, and making sure that all the comments are addressed. The second comment was on font size, basically formatting, and that has been corrected as well. The next comment was to add an acronym to the list of acronyms at the end in the appendix, and staff have made sure to address that comment as well. The acronym has been added to the acronym list. And the fourth comment was to create an external link to the public participation plan. So initially in the draft tip, the public participation plan was attached as an appendix item, but there was a suggestion to create a web link that redirects the user to a different page on the website. And as per the comment, we have attached a web link which takes us to NMCOG's website with the public participation plan. So the next comment is regarding TIP funding sources, to reference that in the federal aid program section. So the staff member referenced the TIP's funding sources in the mentioned section. So the next three comments were related to highway and transit STIP investment reports, and staff have exported all the most recent STIP investment reports from eSTIP and has been updated into the final TIP document. The final comment is to coordinate with LRTA on greenhouse gas quantitative analysis for transit investments wherever applicable. And the updated greenhouse gas quantitative analysis results are added to in terms of the purchase of electric vehicles for federal fiscal year 2026 and 2027 in the final tip. So this is an overview of the public comments that we received so far. And before questions and endorsement of the tip, I would like to quickly give a recap of the projects that are programmed in this federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 tip. So the regional program project list includes rehabilitation of Boston Road Westford, programmed in 2024, reconstruction and related work on VFW Highway, Lowell, 2025 and 2026. This is programmed over 2 years. Traffic signal installation at Route 110 and Route 495, Chelmsford, is programmed in 2025. Intersection improvements at Boston Road, Lexington Road, and Glad Valley Road, Billerica, is programmed in 2025. Improvements on Chelmsford Street, Chelmsford, is programmed over 2 years, 2026 and 2027. Tewksbury intersection improvements at Main Street, Pleasant Street, and North Street, East Street, Tewksbury, is programmed in 2027. Lowell connector reconstruction from Thorndike Street to Gorham Street, Lowell, is programmed in 2028. Vinyl Square safety improvements, Chelmsford, is programmed in 2028. Moving on to the state program projects, the Rook Bridge replacement, Lowell, is programmed in 2024. Yankee Doodle Bike Path construction phase 1, Billerica, is programmed in 2024. Bridge replacement, Gorham Street over I-495, and replacement of Westford Street over I-495, Chelmsford, is programmed in 2024. The Westford Stony Brook Road over the Stony Brook is programmed in 2025. Drakeid Safe Routes to School improvements at George Engelby Elementary School is programmed in 2025. Westford interstate maintenance and related work on I-495 is programmed in 2025. And for the transit projects, in 2024, we have Gallagher garage upgrades, vehicle replacement projects, purchase of automated vehicle locator and other systems. We also have paratransit maintenance facility improvements, rehab of ADA and commuter accessway. Moving on to federal fiscal year 2025, we have the garage decking repairs and facility upgrades and charging infrastructure for electric zero emission vehicles programmed. In federal fiscal year 2026, the program projects are solar array at Gallagher Intermodal Center and a vehicle replacement related project. In federal fiscal year 2027, there is a purchase of an administrative vehicle and again, vehicle replacement related project. And finally, in federal fiscal year 2028, Hale Street solar roof rehab is programmed. So these are the projects that are programmed in the federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 TIP. And I would like to pause here for any comments. And after any comments or questions, I request the MPO members to vote to endorse the federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 TIP.
Great. Thanks, Shravanti. Are there any questions or comments on the draft tip?
I just had one question, Shravanti. So we've seen this tip a couple different times. I didn't notice anything jumping out to me from a date change. We had some date changes a couple of months ago, if I'm not incorrect. There's nothing date-wise that's advanced or decelerated for any of these projects, unless I misheard.
After the MPO order on the scenarios, there are no changes to the project dates.
Okay, that's what I thought I saw. I just want to make sure that's what I saw.
Of course, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Other questions? Okay, not seeing any. So with that, I'll ask for a motion and second to endorse the federal fiscal year 24 to 28 transportation improvement program.
Move to endorse as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion having been made and seconded. Go ahead and call the roll, Justin.
Okay, great. Derek Kvaal,
Yes.
Brian Fallon,
Yes.
Andrew Delaware,
Yes.
and Pat Logis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right, we'll move on to our next agenda item, which I believe is an update on the long-range transportation plan, Envision 2050. So I'll turn it back over to staff for this one.
That one's back over to me. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Belanger. I'm going to provide a brief update on our environmental consulting meeting. We had a meeting last week on May 18th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and the event was titled Envision 2050, Clean and Sustainable Transportation Options. The purpose of the environmental consulting meeting was to discuss the environmental consulting activities related to our new long-range regional transportation plan. A requirement of the plan is that we review and discuss potential mitigation activities to restore and maintain environmental functions affected by transportation planning efforts, specifically the efforts that are recommended in our latest RTP plan that we're in the process of developing. During the session, Shravanti, our transportation planner, provided an overview of the TIP, a lot of the information that she shared with you just a few minutes ago. Also, we had one of our sustainability planners on the line, Daniela, and she provided an overview of our agency's sustainability efforts, highlighting greenhouse gas emissions, overall carbon reduction efforts, including the net zero planning and the Green Communities program. She's also working diligently on coordinating activities for the Northern Middlesex Stormwater Collaborative. And these projects will be included, and the recommendations will be included in our new long-range regional transportation plan that is underway at the moment. And For any more information on our environmental consulting meeting, we do have a link up on our website as well as a recap of the event from last week. Thank you. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Jessica. Any questions? All right. Not seeing any. Thanks for the update. Okay, we can move on to our next agenda item, which I think is other business. I see there's an item on there that I was going to mention as well, but I don't know if staff want to mention the CIP public meeting that'll be held this evening.
Sure. I know Michelle Scott's on the line, so
Alright.
this is kind of her thing, but tonight at 6 o'clock on the Zoom, MassDOT, where NMCOG is hosting a MassDOT capital investment plan public meeting where MassDOT will talk about what's going to be involved with that plan, and the reason we're hosting is because it's geared towards the Northern Middlesex region as well as the Merrimack Valley region to our east. So it's kind of a northeast section of Massachusetts focused meeting. So that's tonight. I don't know if Michelle would like to say a few words, or Derek, anybody else?
Thanks, Justin. Yeah, I think that summarizes it well. Just, look forward to that meeting. And if folks do want to participate, we definitely encourage everyone to check it out. There's also a public comment tool. If someone could post in the chat, I think it's mass.gov/CIP webpage. Just encourage participation in the planning process. It's all federal and state funding that Massachusetts will be receiving over the next 5 years. So it's a really important budget and policy document, and just hope to see folks there or see any comments that folks might have. Any other business?
It's our next meeting date.
Yes, so the next meeting
June
date,
28th.
June 28th. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Justin. So hope to see everyone there. Anything else? All right. Well, with that, I'll ask for a motion and second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, any abstentions? All right, without objection, we're adjourned. So thanks, everybody. Got a lot done today. Endorse the tip, and we'll look forward to the rest of the 3C documents in the future. So we'll see you all back here in June, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks again, Justin.
Thank you.